Assemblyman Jeff Gonzalez has been in office just about a year. He's been on our show to share how he is working for his constituents, and tonight he wraps up his first year in office. Assemblyman, welcome back to the program.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Okay, we're 1 year in. What grade do you give yourself?
You know, I'll give myself a B, a solid B, because there's always room for work. There's always room for work. I think we went out there, you know, we campaigned on transparency. We campaigned on affordability, and we campaigned on increased communication. And I think we brought that to the table.
Okay, so you get a B for that. You think there's room for improvement there, but you have done that.
And by the way, there'll always be room for an improvement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but you've done that.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the highlights, things that you thought went really well in year one?
Look, I've told you this before. My son has cerebral palsy, spastic quadriplegic, can't walk, can't use his hands, is nonverbal. We said we were going to Sacramento to make sure that he had a voice. When we found out that Governor Newsom was cutting $700 million from in-home supportive services, I said, this is why I'm here, this is why we're fighting. And by the way, everyone was speaking out, but no one was listening. So I went to the Capitol steps, we held a press conference, and we fought, and we won. $700 million back into the hands of Californians versus in the hands of consultants inside of Sacramento. So that was the biggest win, I think, for us. The other piece was we did over 140 bipartisan bills, co-authored bills. So that means we worked across the aisle. We found things that we can agree on, and we said, this is good for California. 140 times we did that. We also looked at veterans and military issues. So the Speaker, a Democrat, asked me to be the vice chair. He appointed me as vice chair of Military and Veterans Affairs, and he appointed me to be vice chair of Water, Parks, and Wildlife. So that's just a few of the victories that we had. But I would think one of the great victories is people in the district needed help with some of their services, EDD, DMV. They needed money back into their hands. We brought over $500,000 back into the hands of constituents through our constituent services. And my team, they're a bunch of rock stars. They really are. And they were able to do their job at what I call championship level.
Okay, so that's good. A lot of good in this first year. What didn't go your way?
You know, we campaigned on accountability and clarity and making sure we hold people accountable. We went through CVSD, right? The teachers and the community were asking for that. So we brought CVUSD to the Capitol. We brought them there, and we presented our facts to the Joint Legislative Audit Committee, and it was supposed to go through, and an audit was supposed to take place, Fred. But because of Senator Steve Padilla and his back deals happening in Sacramento, he cut that off. But let me tell you something. I don't want people to feel like we didn't accomplish anything. What we did was we brought that out in the open, but unfortunately, Steve Padilla put up a whole bunch of walls. They're talking right now about a audit, but it's not an audit, it's a review.
I heard that, yeah.
It is a review. No, everybody knows it's a review. It is not a forensic audit, and that's what people are asking for. They're asking for an audit.
All right, so now we begin year two. What's on the agenda?
Year two. Here's what we're doing in this next 3.5 months. We're meeting with every single city council across the entire 36th district. The 36th district is larger than the size of New Hampshire. So we're going to go to every single city, and we're going to say, what are your legislative asks, and what other things you want us to ask for? Because our job is to advocate for the community, because we have a 20% unemployment rate in the district, and we can't have that. So I'm going to fight for that, and I'm going to fight for it through legislation, through budget requests, and through using my microphone.
I do check your social media. You are out everywhere here in the Coachella Valley. You are everywhere. How much time do you spend with people?
You know, that's an interesting question. I spend whatever time they'll give me. And what I mean by that specifically, you know, I was in Anza the other day, a couple weeks ago, and a resident said, hey, can you come talk to me? So I went to their house, And we sat on the front porch, and we were there for an hour and a half talking about some of the issues. And they said, no one, by the way, and this is a Democrat, they said, no one has ever, Democrat or Republican, no matter what office, has come to my house and just sat there and listened. So thank you for that. So that's what we're supposed to do. That's the job. So I go out there and take the time that's needed.
All right. You're one of the books. Thank you, Assemblyman.
Thank you. We'll be back again and to keep people updated.
Look forward to it.